on in our algebra bit of our Unit A, we're going to be evaluating algebraic expressions. So we talked about what expressions were. We talked about that they are not equations. So equations with an equal sign can be solved. Expressions can be evaluated if you know what the value of all the letters are, right, all the variables, or they can be simplified. And so we're going to be talking about evaluating expressions in this section and then simplifying expressions in the final two sections of Unit A. So to evaluate an expression, simply replace the variable with the specified number. So you're being given the values of the different variables. The key thing with this is to sub in with brackets. So subbing in with brackets often seems like an extra step, but as we've seen in the exponents on positive and negative numbers, it absolutely can make all the difference in the world of the value of these things. So we're going to do it right off the get-go here with these and trying to establish some good habits. So we've got y minus x. So it tells me here that y is 7 and x is 6. It's a matter of putting these together with this form. And so I subbed in with brackets. I probably didn't need to, but like I said, I'm trying to get good habits for when it really does matter. 7 minus 6 is 1. More of these, and really overcomplicating. Subbing in with brackets allows me to see how these are just all implied as multiplication. So 5 times x times y, or 5 times 6 times 7, if I know the value of x and y, would give me 210. Let's pull up my calculator for that one. Oh, I guess 30 times 7 is, yeah. Anyway, there we go. So subbing in a is 5 and b is 7. Gives me that answer. And the last one, similar to the above, 15 times 7. Oh my goodness. So at this point, look back. You may have got the answers, and oftentimes I say it doesn't really matter how you get to the answer, it'll be fine. But do yourself a favor. You're going to save yourself a headache in about 2 pages if you're subbing in with brackets. So with these ones, they get a little more complicated. Remember, order of operations, BEDMAS, kind of governs all of these. So we'd have 4 times x is 3, it says here, and we're squaring that number, plus 2. So order of operations would have me do the exponent first, so that'd be 4 times 9 plus 2, then multiplication next, so that'd be 36 plus 2, or 38 as an answer. I got a little out of room, so I didn't write 30. I'll write it 36 plus 2. Sorry about that. Okay, next one. We have 5 times all of this stuff. So z is 4. Subbing in with brackets, even though it doesn't really need to. Trying to establish those good habits. So if you can read through all those brackets, inside we have 4 and 5, so that's 5 times 9, or 45. We don't have any negative signs yet here, which is really where things come in handy, and especially where negatives and exponents come together. So we've got z, which has a value of 4, and we're going to square that. Y has a value of 2, so I'm just replacing y with 2 in brackets. That's that subbing in, right, and recopying. And then I need to do what's in the brackets first, and exponents are going to be first. So that's going to be 16 minus 4, 7 times 12, or 84. Whoops, that looks like 89. 84. We've got some negatives coming at us. Mercifully, no exponents just yet. So subbing in, every time I see a letter, I sub in the number with the brackets. Also drop the brackets as pretty much as soon as I can, because it does make it look a little bit complicated. Remembering these are grouping signs, do up front or up top. So I'd have 32 plus 3, I'd have 35, -5. My answer is going to be negative. That can go with the top or the bottom, whatever it is. In this case, they're both divisible by 5, so my answer is a -7. Last one, take the time, sub in with brackets. It's a bit of a test in your copying abilities almost. So being distracted is difficult. Check your work as you go, and we'll move on. Things are going to get a little bit harder. So we're just evaluating these. We are not solving them. I'm going to keep going with the same thing. So you're welcome to use your calculator if you like. I stay with kind of the habit of doing a bit of a hybrid because I find that I make fewer mistakes. Your calculator is only as good as the programming that you're putting into it. And so for that reason, I try and do some of the thinking. So here where 2's and z's look a lot alike, but we're all in numbers now. So I'd have 4 minus 6 on the top and 5 on the bottom. I'd have a final answer of -2 over 5. It's just like a pattern and you're fitting the numbers into it. Oh, I guess I'm dividing both by 2. That's what it is. So the letters have changed on this one. The expression is 3x plus 5y, and we're going to evaluate it because we know what those mean. Lots of negatives in this one. -6 minus 25, and I'd probably do that on my calculator. I get a -31. So a little bit more on these, probably getting the hang of it. Tried to come up with some that would catch you if you weren't subbing in with brackets, because it really seems like a silly thing to like do it my way. But honestly, I won't ask that ever unless I know that it truly does make a difference. So these expressions, we have our kind of key up here. We're going to evaluate these expressions by subbing in what we are told. More negatives all over. So take your time. I'm going to come back to these ones are the trickiest ones. Subbing in with brackets here makes all the difference in the world. When I subbed a -4 in, that means that it's 2 times a positive 16 plus 3. So 2 times 16 is 32 plus 3. That gives me an answer of 35 on this one. This one's way too squishy. I'm going to rewrite it over here. P has a value of -4. Q has a value of 3 plus a -2. Okay. So we'd have -4 times 1 or -4. So these last two, I'm going to throw the answers on here. And I'd like you to give them a look before you see my approach to them. So you want to pause, you might give a minute, give it a try. I'm going to show you subbing in. So I have a negative. Q value is 3. So I sub in with brackets, right? That negative is out front, so that means that it's 3 times 3 and the negative of it. So that's how I get the negative 9 there. This one, same Q, same squared, same negative, but the brackets are around that. So if I recopy it and sub in with brackets, things mean differently here. So what this is saying is that that is negative 3 squared. So negative 3 times negative 3 is a positive 9. And so these are really good examples of how that subbing in with brackets can absolutely matter, right? Especially with negative signs and exponents. So the last ones, just put a couple more in here, still just trying to get your attention with this convention of subbing in with brackets. M is a negative 6 plus 3 times n, which is 4 in my rules up here, and that's all going to be divided by a negative 3. All subbed in with brackets, now I can make some sense of it. And if you want to drop brackets at this point, I totally do. The top would have a 6, the bottom is a negative 3, so my final answer is negative 2. Last one, 4 times m, which is negative 6, plus n, which is 4, a negative 6 plus 4 times n, which is 4. I've probably copied one of these wrong. We got negative 24 plus 4 on the top. On the bottom, we have negative 6 plus 16. On the top, I'd get 20, negative 20. On the bottom, I'd get 10. So my final answer here, same as that one, negative 2. Take your time, check your work, make sure that it's making sense to you. And if you'd like more questions to help clarify this, let me know.